What a wonderful world. I feel a lot of heart in the sanctuary today. Could you imagine a world where each one of us and every being was welcomed with this much love, was blessed with this much kindness and community, and was seen with this much spiritual vision? Can you imagine that transforming power? To acknowledge this human walk on the planet, this spiritual condition, to acknowledge as a community and to know. I mean, imagine if right now here in this sanctuary, this community right here was to be the only community these beloved children would interact with. Everyone that stood here today, everyone that came together to bless them in consciousness, to see them, to know how incredibly loved they are in the hearts of their parents, in the hearts of their godparents, their grandparents, their great godparents, grandparents. Could you imagine that? Imagine it. Because that is our calling. That is our job. That is our spiritual charge as human beings walking on this planet. Whether we were there for the original blessing of that child or not, whether we know the family or not, whether we have any connection or not, for every child on this planet, that is ours to know. Marianne Williamson said something once that really struck me. She said something like, and it's probably nothing really like this at all, but something like in my mind, once the world recognizes, once every individual recognizes that every child on the planet is your child, truly is your child, until that moment, we will be asleep, and when we have that moment, there will be a great awakening. When we have that moment, there will be a great awakening. And you know what? That child exists within each one of us, within every person on that planet, especially within the people who are not demonstrating it, who are not showing it, the people who it makes it a little, who make it a little hard to see it. Those are usually the people who missed out on moments like today. Those are usually the people who missed out on the love of today. And it's our spiritual calling as awakened beings of love to demonstrate the consciousness of love that heals, the consciousness of love that accepts, that is unconditional, the way a parent is with their child. So what can we do to make a wonderful world? How often do we ask ourselves that? What can I do to make this world a wonderful world? My week this week, all these videos, I just kept getting these videos, and they were incredible. And like one was Mr. Rogers. I mean, God, Mr. Rogers. And it wasn't just a Mr. Rogers show I was watching at home by myself. It was an interview in the 60s, the late 60s, I think, with Mr. Rogers in Congress, right? And he was talking about the heart of children and how important it is to show kindness with children, to teach them kindness, to demonstrate that, to teach them about their emotions and their feelings. He was like one of the first anti-bullying preachers that we had, and he came directly into our homes, and he was there speaking to Congress on behalf of public television and preserving it. But to see that dedication and to think how just that one life lived was shared with so many, awakening them, spreading the message of kindness and compassion, understanding and diversity, true acceptance and love. Another video I saw was of a young man who was talking about Japan and how special Japan is, and making a note of how in Japan there is this culture of respect. And he goes through and shows different ways in which this respect shows up. And he said, you can leave something out. If you're out at a coffee shop, if you're out at a restaurant, you can leave your coat, you can leave your purse, you can leave your cell phone, you can leave your laptop, you can go to the restroom, and you can come back assured that it's going to be there because no one's going to take it, because there's a level of respect. You can expect that as you're driving through traffic or as you're going down an escalator, that people, there don't need to be signs saying move to the side so people can walk by, that it just happens naturally because it is a culture of kindness and respect. He said that you feel like royalty when you get a meal because as it's delivered to you, someone bows in honor of you. And he shared this video that he made to help people see the beauty of the diversity of cultures and the gifts that one culture can bring to another. I saw another one with this little boy, this beautiful boy, probably about 10 years old, and he's in his car and someone's videotaping him, and he just got back from playing at a park where he had Fila shoes on, and he was made fun of because of his shoes, because they weren't the fancy, expensive shoes. They weren't Nikes or whatever they're supposed to be at the time. And so he's doing this video about having just kind of been bullied or, harassed at the park a little bit about this. And so he makes this video and puts it online, and he just starts talking, and he starts telling everybody, my value is not based on my shoes or where they're bought. My value is based on what's in my mind, what's in my heart. That's what stays with me. Parents, please teach your children. I'm not a consumerism person. Please teach your children to value people and to acknowledge people based on who they are as people, not by what they own. I saw another post about a mother who wrote a letter to her children, or her child, and the letter was gorgeous, and it went through this whole thing about how right now I am this for this beloved child. I'm the one they want to make their lunch for them. I'm the one that they want to have them walk them to school or to put them to bed at night. I'm the one that they go to when they're hurt. I'm the one that they go to when they need advice. But she, in that moment, was writing this letter to the partner, the beloved of their child in the future. And she put in that letter, this may seem silly and it's going to be a long time before you get this, but I just want you to know how sacred this time is for me and how I know that you're going to play this role in the future. That in the future, my beloved will be coming to you when he's scared. He'll be coming to you when he needs advice. He'll be coming to you when he needs a hug or when he needs to be picked up. He'll be coming to you. And I bless you. And it was this whole expression of consciousness, of knowing the fullness and the love and the sanctity of the moment. Can you feel that? That's like the love in this room. There is someone that loves everyone on this planet so deeply, it would make us all well up with tears. When we can use our spiritual intelligence to translate that love and to consciously bring it to every human being, to every child, to every moment, we are awake. Especially the moments that seem to challenge us, especially when we feel moments that don't feel like love, when we feel someone's coming up behind us on the road. Can we pause for a moment and instead of going, get off, instead of criticizing, instead of judging, can we fully, with the fullness of our being, send a blessing back and saying, for all the times you've not been seen, I see you. For all the times you've not been heard, I'm listening. For all of the times you've not been loved, I'm flooding you with love. And for all of the peace that may be missing in your heart, by the power of this blessing, may you feel peace in this moment. Awakening happens moment by moment. When we can connect with the love that we have in our hearts for even just one child, and allow that love to be a lighthouse that guides us, we will transform the world with kindness and compassion. There was a story shared with me about a little boy in a family where he had an older sister, and I think this is from Chicken Soup for the Soul, so this is going to be a real nutshell of the story because I didn't read the story, I just got it from a friend. And his version may be better than in the book. But this little boy had an older sister that had some sort of disease that she was not doing well and had to have a blood match transfusion, some blood being given to her. And so the only match was her little brother, or the best match was little brother. Whatever was in his blood was something that she needed and could be part of her healing. And she's the older sister. And so the family talked to the little boy and said, are you willing to donate your blood? Would you be willing to do that? And so the little boy said, yes, I'd be willing to do that for my sister. And so they went to the hospital, got him hooked up to the IV and everything. And, for a little boy, that could be really scary for a child to have an IV and have blood coming out, and all of that, right? And with all sincerity and authenticity, as the little boy is starting to watch the blood come out, he looks up at the doctor and says, how long will it take before I die? With no measuring, no judging, no limits, the love of the heart of a child gives. The love of a heart of a child sees a need and serves. Of course, that little boy didn't know, sweetie, you don't go when you donate blood, you just help. But without thinking, well, gosh, why do they want her to live and me not? Like, why are they asking me to do this? And without any of that, without any of the human conditioning, without any of the adult stuff we put on everything, just giving, just loving, just serving. Can we live so freely like a child? The master teacher said, this and more you shall do. We know that's not about building up mansions. We know that's not about building up power. And we know that's not about building up product. We know that is about building up consciousness and building up love on our planet. And that happens one person at a time, one soul at a time. And when we hear those stories, when we see those videos, when we share our light, we bring hope. One of the other videos I saw was a man from Palestine and a Jewish man, and they were doing an interview. And he said in the beginning of this amazing video, he said, I'm doing this because I realize the images that people are getting are the ones that are destructive. They're the ones that are toxic. And we need to, we need to be sharing all of the light, all of the beauty, all of the blessing. Namaste.